Hi everybody, it's Mark from MT.TrainRestorations again. Just wanted to follow up on part 3 that we're working on some Lionel passenger cars from 1931. So if you remember in my last episode, we disassembled a couple cars, took them apart to some degree, and I was going to prepare them for paint removal. So let's go back and see what I got done so far. So let me kind of move this back over and focus down into my work area, and we'll tighten this back up and get ready here to talk a little bit about what we have accomplished since last time. So if you remember, I had a couple of these, 6, 13, 14, and the 15. I'm going to, as you see, got some of the leftover parts, wrong trucks, everything. Was not, somebody did a lot of work to these, but really didn't do it justice by putting back kind of the way it was from the factory. I don't know the reason why, but maybe they were just struggling to do that. So like I said, I'm not going to use these. I did in the meantime find some. These are the trucks that come with that series. So I'm going to need, probably 8 pair. There are 8 of these to make 4 pair. I'm missing one, so I'm sure I got other trucks on other cars from similar time frame in the 1930s, from 30 to 40. There was a lot of vehicles, a lot of cars came with those kind of trucks, so I'll be able to find another one and put that together. I have wheels. I should be in pretty good shape with to get the original stock wheel and the coupler. It would either be a latch coupler in 31, 32, 33. I think up in 34 to 5 they actually upgraded this model, this car, with the box coupler. You've seen those before. They have the little, they look like this, box coupler. That's what they upgraded to about halfway through the series. So I can do either, but I think the latch coupler is where these should have. So, and then they'll work with either one. You can interhook that with the latch coupler anyway. So where we were last time, we stripped a couple cars. I'm going to show you what we did. I took the baggage car and I sandblasted it because most of the paint was flaking off anyway, as you can see. So it wasn't that difficult to sandblast it right off. Chemicals, I only use the chemicals when I really have some tough cases of paint to remove, but the roof sections, here's the roof, here's the floor, and with the 4 doors, actually I found out we do have, it looks like, brass handles under the paint. So we got those. I'll take those off and we'll brush those up on a wire wheel and polish them a little bit. They'll be good as new. The vestibules from each end, got those cleaning up. I'll get into these little nooks and crannies here with my dental tools and my little dental working detail tools. That's what I use to get in those little creases, little crevices. Same within here. If you get a couple real fine little dental tools and you're doing some fine detailing, it's the best thing to get the paint out of these little crevices. So this is what I did so far. I haven't even cleaned that one up from the dust from the blaster. I use aluminum oxide in my media blaster, like a 60 grit. Sometimes I'll go to a 70 depending on how bad it is. But 60 grit seems to work pretty fine. These are the tracks that go inside. If you remember, I took them out of here. That's what guides the doors. They were rusty, but they were natural metal, but they were just rusty. So I cleaned those up. And these are the parts to this passenger car. So after I detail it out, what I do is I'll take it onto my wire wheel on my bench grinder, and I will clean all this metal up on all these pieces with the wire wheel. Here's the little windows, used to have numbers on them, so we'll put those aside. We'll clean those all up. The underbelly air tank, and that's that. So I also stripped another car. If you remember, I did the observation car as well, and the window section, 2 window sections, the underbelly. I didn't take the floor out of this one. I wanted to do it without. I can clean it up afterwards. But I did, if you remember, had a couple anomalies on this car I wanted to research. The door on one side was closed off. I didn't know why. So I find out, look, after I cleaned all the paint out of here, someone decided, not sure who, but they soldered in, I don't know if you can see that in there or not, they soldered in a little blank over the door opening. They did a pretty good job. It's almost looks like a factory job, but they filled in the door handles, because got the little handles that go there. They filled in those holes on both sides, but they left this side open. So the door did show through on that side, but not the other side. So what I ended up doing, what I'm going to do now, I cleaned this off where I can see better, and like I said, I blasted the paint out of here, and you can see there's a little flat piece of metal on both sides of the door that cover these holes, and there's a insert. Somebody made a pretty nice insert. They cut that thing perfect. So I'm going to heat this up, and I will knock those out of there, get back to normal. Hopefully this opening looks like this side, because if you look to see, there's a little lip in here, and that's what they filled into. They rested this thing right up against this little door stop and soldered it in. So I'm going to clean those out and put it back to stock. And I noticed they also, after cleaning the paint out of the rear vestibule basket, they also soldered this in. So I was thinking, should I heat it up and pull it off, because the tabs are gone anyway. I see why they soldered it. You can see the tabs in here slightly. I don't know how good you can see those, but there is 2 tabs on each side now that the paint's gone, but looks like there's a little bit of solder on at least one of them, and I can see some solder in here. So I may heat this up, pull it off, finish cleaning the red paint that was on it. If you remember, these were all red. They painted over everything. I think I'm going to heat this up, pull this off, and then independently paint this basket. I don't know if I'll paint it or powder coat it. I have a couple pretty cool powder coat colors. One's called chrome, and it actually will come out looking like chrome. I mean, it's kind of cool. I may chrome this, but I also have a color, it's called gold. Once it's powder coated gold, it looks just like brass, and it's durable. It doesn't scratch off. It'll take a pretty good licking before you can damage it. So I may do that separately. Since everything else is brass, I want to use these over. Anything that's brass on here that I'm able to keep and use over, I'd like to do that. But it looks to me like these were kind of painted over. I don't know if these were really brass from the factory. I haven't explored those too much. But whatever we come up with, maybe you folks out there can help me with a color scheme on what to put these back as. I'm going to take those apart the same way we did these, if you remember from the last show, and I'll take them all apart. I'll break them down into all the pieces that we have. These will have less pieces than the baggage car, as you can see. There's a lot of moving parts in there. The observation car doesn't have a lot of moving parts to it. Once I get the trucks put together, find all the wheels and all those kind of trims, I will, that's my next journey through all my parts to see what I have. So as I was saying, what kind of color, you know, am I going to look to do? I do have an engine actually. Right here that I did a while back. It's a 249E. It was in similar shape when I got it, didn't run, so on and so forth. So I like this color. I made two because I'm going to sell one. That's what I mostly do. I do this just to put them back out there in the public to keep these things going. I can't keep everything that I buy and make. So a good number of these I redo, and if you like it, it's not a standard Lionel color, obviously, but as I said once before, their colors were kind of boring. They only had so many and so on. So I think I might make this set match up with this. I think I might do the blue on the roof section. Wherever I put that here. Oh, I also wanted to show you. I'm going to put this aside for a moment. If you remember, this car had the worst roof out of them all. I took it apart, was hoping that the rust on the top did not go all the way through, and it did not. Look, it came out pretty nice. There's a couple spots right here where it started to eat up the bottom side, but it's all superficial to a point where I can sand this now with some sandpaper, get it a little bit even smoother, and what's left I could fill in with some glazing putty, and it'll look pretty good. It won't be perfect, but at least it did not have to go to the junk pile in another couple years because it rotted through. What bled over to the sides from this piece, as you can see where the rust is kind of accumulated, what spilled over onto the other piece is minimal. It's not bad. It's even lighter than this, but again, I'll sand it down a little bit more. This was just right out of the media blaster, and I took it to my wire wheel and shined up the middle. You know, I want to get all the marks off of it and so on with the wire wheel before I either prime it with paint primer or powder coat it. So as I mentioned before, the latches, I just drilled out the rivets, took the spring latches off that come through. That's how these release. You squeeze these together and pull that roof off, and it holds on to that stub right there. Pretty nice. It's not, doesn't have the screw like some of the other cars they made. I like the method that they came up with. It's pretty ingenious. So this comes off pretty easy. I think I can almost do it with my fingernail, but I'll clean those off by hand. This is the roof section. Like I said, it was the worst one out of the bunch. It came out pretty good. So project continues. Like I said, I'm going to heat this car up a little bit and get rid of the alterations that somebody did. I'm going to move this out of the way. So again, let me know, give me a comment or two on what the color scheme should be. Originally, I believe it was their green, pea green, whatever you want to call that color green. It's not the peacock. It's a similar color to that, because these were originally painted. They left them on with the original color, which I thought was odd. They went through all that time to do all this other stuff, and they left these greenish color. As you can see, that's an original Lionel color. I think that's probably the color of what the roofs were, and these were probably darker green. They have a couple green colors that they had back in those days. I'd have to look it up in a book to see what color combo they offered, but so they didn't do the air tanks underneath for whatever reason, which is okay by me. My media blaster took the paint off of these really fast. It was almost like blowing dust off with an air hose. Peeled it right off. Really, really slick. So shoot me a comment or two, or whatever you think with your color combination, and we'll see what we pick. I won't probably start that process until I get all the cars cleaned up. So just wanted to keep you posted on where I'm at with this project, and let me know if you like to see what I'm doing, if you like this kind of thing. I got lots of project. Actually, I was moving this out of the way. I got some mail today. I want to share with you what I got in the mail. So, not to change the subject, but I'm kind of excited. Every day I get mail, and what I get in the mail is always fascinating to me. The 150 series Lionel. I don't know, but lately I've been doing a lot of those. So somebody had a couple shells for sale. 158, I believe this one's shot number as. I also have a 150 over here from a while back. These two are the same. You can see now there's a difference in size. The 150, I think the 150s are very similar to the original 700 series that they came out with in like 1915. Then they changed the 700 series to the 150s for whatever reason, and that's Lionel. But the 150s is a smaller shell with a smaller frame. So I got these over here, and this came with a motor in it to some degree. This is the way it came out of the box today. The frame's a little mangled up, as you can see. It needs a little work. I'll straighten that out, not a problem. The body's, well, it is what it is. But I like to show folks what it looks like when it arrives, and then what it could look like when it's done. I have one on eBay right now under my MT.TrainRestorations. It's a 152 I have for sale. When I got it, I had a frame. A frame came with it. A motor came with it. Yikes. And there were no wheels. And it did hum because it didn't know the words. So, but I got that fixed. Took it apart, cleaned it all out, did what I needed to do, bought some wheels, so on and so forth. Got it all put back together. So this is motor. Looks like a type 8 motor, maybe a 9. I'll have to look it up in the book. They had a couple different engines, motors for the engines back then. Number 7, number 8, number 9. 7 and 8 were pretty close. Anyway, I'm boring you with that stuff. So this will be maybe the next project. If you guys want to watch, if anybody out there, you folks want to see that, I may even get to use this shell somewhere. Eventually, I need the small frame. I'm looking for small frames. I got a couple shells now, and I need the small frames. So I'll put this aside. This one here might be the body I have to use for this, because this red one doesn't look so hot, but we'll see what works. We'll do that. We'll do that together. Throw that aside. So again, I won't keep you. I just want to let you know, here's where we ended up with what we did last time. Media blast is the best way to get these stripped down, because like I said, this paint just about falls off every time you pick it up. So next part 4, I think it's going to be, we'll continue on. I'll take these apart, strip them all down, and get these ready, find parts for everything, and then we'll come up with a color scheme. Then we'll start the painting process or powder coat process, and follow along with me. We'll see what happens. Thanks so much. Until next time, this is Mark from MT Restorations saying goodbye for now. See ya.